Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to be taking a look at the KAEES Solomon where's the logo? The KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA. This is a 25 millimeter RTA. Yes, I'm a little excited about it. It does take mesh on it, so they have improved. Like the regular Solomon RTA is the same. It's basically the same thing except for now it takes mesh. It's got really nice juice flow, so it actually saturates really well. You don't have any problem with that at all, and it not getting enough no matter what. I mean, as long as you're wicking it efficiently. It's got top airflow, so this thing is basically leak proof. So for those of you that are always struggling with your RTAs or your mesh RTAs leaking through the bottom or anything, this would probably be a good idea. Or if you're scared to do it because you're scared of leaking, this will probably be something that you might be interested in because it does have the top airflow. It does have top juice fill also, and it's got, like I said, those massive wicking ports. Look at that. The juice ports right there are really massive. So in addition to that, it's got really nice open airflow, but you can tone it down to whatever you like. And it comes with mesh strips, it comes with cotton, it comes with just about everything that you need to get started other than the e-liquid. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA and put a build on it. Okay, so here we are with the Solomon Mesh RTA. Inside the packaging, you're going to get your user guide. It's really self-explanatory and very simple, but we're going to be going over it and some other information. And then you're going to get some organic cotton. You're going to get some extras. This has some O-rings, your screwdriver, some extra deck screws, and a 510 drip tip adapter. You're also going to get this rod. This is actually to bend your coil and get it shaped properly for the RTA deck. And then you're going to get a total of 4 mesh strips. 4 strips of mesh. On this one, you're going to get 2 strips that actually have a power range of 45 to 60 watts. And then you're going to get these, which actually have a power range from 60 to 70 watts. I am going to be using these. I like the higher wattage, but they are all Kanthal, either ones that you pick. So we're going to be using this. And then of course you're going to have your RTA. So this is basically the star of the show. Now this is a 25 millimeter in diameter RTA. It does say Solomon Mesh by KAEES on the bottom. You do have a protruding 510. And then on the top, you do have an 810 drip tip. This does take any 810 drip tip that you want. It does have that beefy O-ring on the inside. And then you're going to have some knurling both on the top and the bottom. This is so that you can grip it to open it. So let's go ahead and open the top. When you open the top fill, you've got 2 huge kidney size juice holes. So you can fill it easily without any problem of any type of no space or anything. I really like the size of that. And then you can go ahead and just close it up really nice and smooth. And then you've got top airflow. I know it's hard to see because this is a black one, but this is the one that they sent. So this is the one we're going to review. And so this one, you can close it down, you can open it up. So it does have top airflow. So virtually it is leak proof because your airflow is on the top. There's no way for it to leak on the bottom. Now, the only other thing is to open this up so we can see the deck. Now with the bubble glass, I did forget to mention, it does also come with a straight glass. With the straight glass, it holds 3.5 mils of e-liquid. This is your standard glass, but it does come with the bubble glass already installed, which does hold 6.5 mils of e-liquid. That to me is phenomenal. I love a big juice flow or a big juice capacity because who doesn't need it? On the inside, you're going to see right here, it's got some airflow holes are right there. And then this right here is where your juice is going to come in to saturate your cotton. If you notice, it's got a little cutout here and here. This is actually for the deck. The deck does have 2 notches, 1 on each side. So when you're putting it back together, you can literally just put it on and listen, and then it's locked in place, and then screw it down. So it does have those notches to keep it in place. And what it's doing is actually keeping your airflow, and that's why that does it. You do have that conical shape, which is awesome for flavor. And then of course your airflow does go in, and then it's going to come up through the airflow on the top. Now, here we are with the deck, which of course is the star of the show because this does take mesh now. Now, basically this Solomon RTA is very similar to their other ones. The only real difference is going to be the mesh deck. or this deck for the mesh strips, but it's almost very similar. Now here is where the juice is going to come, and if you notice, you can actually see completely through this, so you're not really ever going to have any time that the cotton is not saturated, which I think is a great idea. The one thing that you might have though is a dry hit if you do not put enough cotton underneath the mesh strip. This does not have any type of a spring-loaded ceramic piece or any other piece to actually keep it firm against your cotton, to keep it next to the mesh. So you do have to wick this very efficiently so that you're not going to have that cotton collapse. So I'll be showing you that. You do have 2 Phillips head screws, one on each side, so that you can actually hold these clamps in place. So we're going to go ahead and just loosen them up so that you can see, and you can use a Phillips head or a flat head to loosen them up. Now, when you loosen them up, if you notice, I'm loosening it, but it's not opening. These do not have spring-loaded clamps, so you will have to just manually do that. But as long as you have them open, the mesh strip is still going to just fall into place. So let's go ahead and just open up the other side as well, so you can see. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that these screws are very, very short, so you don't want to pull them out too far. Just far enough to get your mesh strip in, because if you do pull it out too far, it will fully come out. So I do want to mention that. Now this deck is free spinning, and that's so that you can actually get it in place, so it does spin, but it's because those notches have to get into place and clamp into here in order for it to be positioned correctly. So I did want to mention that. So let's go ahead and put this on a mod, and we're going to go ahead and put a mesh strip in here. Now I have my own way of wicking. I appreciate that they provided the organic cotton, but I have a certain way that I like to wick personally, especially with mesh decks. So we're going to be doing it my way versus the cotton that they did provide. So thank you so much for providing it, but no. So I'm just going to loosen these up just a little bit more. Okay, open that up just a little bit more so it's popping out. And open up this one just a little bit more. And everything here is machined really, really well. So if you notice, you didn't hear any grinding or anything like that. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to get one of these mesh strips right here. This Kanthal range 60 to 70 watts, the 0.13. We'll get that out. Take out one of these babies right there. Okay. And then we're going to take this rod that they did provide, and the rod is to help you shape the mesh. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it right around the rod and just hold it in place with my 2 fingers. Just twist the rod like this, just spinning it around so that it can shape the mesh like that. So now the mesh is straightened out. And what I like to do is actually grab my ceramic tweezers and just go in and lay it down. Let's open this one back up. Lay it down right there. Make sure it's in that one as well. There we go. Both of them are in just like that. Very, very easy to do. And then of course we're going to screw it down. I do hold it just lightly with the edge of my finger, because if you put any pressure on the mesh, you can damage it and deform it, which you do not want to do with mesh. So we got that one there. And then of course this side did pop out a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and place that back in there. Nice and in there. And then just screw that one down. I'm very lightly holding it down. I'm not holding it with any type of pressure. I do not want to deform it. But that's basically it. Now, the only con that I have about the rod that they do provide is the fact that if you do misshape in this, you're going to have to take it off to shape it up again, and then put it back on, because this will not fit in here to actually get under the coil to reshape it. So that's the only thing I don't like about that rod. I always recommend on mesh strips to dry fire it at a very, very low wattage, because of the fact that it is mesh. If it's mesh, it's going to burn really, really quick. So let's go ahead and just kind of give it a couple pulses just to get that heating up. Okay, there we go. You can see it heating up evenly. So there we go. So now all we need to do is wick it. So let's go ahead and grab a cotton square. And like I said, this is the way that I do my wicking for mesh. So I use cotton squares. I feel like because of the fact that this does not have a ceramic plate to actually keep the cotton pressed up against your coil, you do need it very, very tight within the underside of the mesh strip so that you do not get any type of a burnt hit by the cotton collapsing. So I'm just going to go ahead and take off this layer here, And then I'm going to remove this layer here. And this is just the way that I do it. You can do it either way that you want to. And they do provide cotton as well. So there you go. Oops. No. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just start fanning it out. There we go. Just fanning it out, stretching it out, and then we're going to roll it up. It does seem like it's a little bit tedious, but once you have it down, you're pretty much good to go. I'm just going to keep doing that, stretch it out, make sure it's even. And you want it pretty much like almost see-through. And these are really, really inexpensive. You can get a big bag for like $10. It'll last you like 6 years. It's like that much. Go ahead and stretch it out, making it really, really fluffy, as you can see. And the fluffiness is actually what's going to be saturating your wick, because when that e-liquid hits the fluffiness, it wicks a little bit more efficiently, in my opinion. So I'm just going to start rolling this down a little bit. Just start rolling it. Make sure you're in focus. Rolling it down and turn it around the other way. There we go, a little bit better. Just keep rolling it. There we go. Right about there should be good. Take off this end. And I'm just going to go ahead and just roll it together to try to get it just a little bit more firm. There you go. The good thing is that it's only one coil, so you only have to do this once. Let's go ahead and get that done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to cut a tip off of here to make it a little bit easier, because it is thicker. And this isn't like a shoestring type of cotton and doesn't have those inglets on it. I just go ahead and do this just to try to get it a little bit more pointier. Just to help it get through. And when we're putting this in, we're going to be pulling it from the other direction also. While I'm pulling on the other side, I'm going to be pulling on this side as well. So I'm pulling on both sides. So that way it'll go in a little bit smoother. There we go. And it's really, really tight. You want that tight. You need it tight within there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece here. And cut a piece here. A little bit more. Fluff it up. I like my ends to be really, really fluffy. That way it'll saturate a little bit better, because it's nice and fluffy. And then I'm just going to pinch them together like that. Make them like two little bow ties like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and just cut them at an angle, exactly like it says on the little card. And then I'm just going to see the length and cut it just a little bit more. I do want it to fit in there, but I don't want it to be stuffed in there. And then this should be perfect right there. So I'm just going to take this and put it right in there. And this has a really, really big juice channel. So trust me, it's going to get nice and wicked. Really, really good. And then check this one, trim this one just a little bit right there. And then put this one in as well. Okay, stick that in there. And again, it's very, very fluffy on the end, so there's not really a lot in here. This is just literally the ends. And then what I'm going to do is just clean it up right around here, because, well, otherwise it just gets so messy. Just take off a little bit right there. Keep those down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and juice it up. And for today's juice of choice, I'm actually going to be using my glass blueberry cake that I made. So... okay, and then I'm going to just start saturating the coil and the wick. There we go, because we want to get that cotton saturated that is within the coil. Very, very important, because if not, then it's going to be dry underneath and it could burn. Just going to go ahead and do that. Making sure to get the sides as well. there. There we go. And some on the sides, and then we'll go ahead and just clean it up. I'm just gonna take my tweezers because I hate stragglies. I don't know about you. Is anybody else like me with the OCD and the stragglies and everything? Leave a comment down below and let me know, because that drives me insane. So see, it's very, very loose in there. See, I can get my tweezers in without any problem, and then I just comb it down because I like it to look pretty. There we go, comb it down. Okay, then all we have to do now is just take this off and put it in the RTA. And then fill her up. Okay, now again, we're gonna wait for it to click in place, so it doesn't matter which way I put it. It's gonna click once it gets there. There we go. Now we can go ahead and screw it down. There we go. Open up the top. I always close my airflow. Even if it's top airflow, I do close down my airflow whenever I'm filling an RTA that has a lot of juice flow. That's just me. Put this back over here. Okay, and then just fill her up. Again, 6.5 mils of e-liquid with this bubble glass, which is a great amount for me. Now, I never take it up to the brim. Like, I'm not going to take it where it's coming out of the fill holes. I don't do that because that puts too much pressure. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. There we are with the KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA. We're going to go ahead and open this up. If you noticed, you can see the cotton through both sides right there. Let's go ahead and go on top and have a vape of the Solomon Mesh RTA, virtually leak-proof. Okay, so here we are back on top with the KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA. Before anything, I'm going to show you what this baby can do. Tremendous, tremendous airflow. Do you hear that? Really, really nice airflow. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down so that you can see it with the airflow turned down, maybe like halfway. So I'm turning it down like halfway for you. Still a lot of airflow. This thing is an airflow hog, and I absolutely love that about it. That is going to be my first pro is going to be the airflow. I love massive airflow. This gives it. In addition to that, it's just, I like it wide open, sorry. In addition to that, you've got an easy build deck, pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. And it's, you know, it comes with 4 mesh strips. You've got cotton it comes with a 510 drip tip adapter. These are all pros in my book. But my biggest pro, other than the fact of the airflow, is going to be the flavor. The flavor on here is absolutely amazing. I definitely like the flavor on this. It's not diminishing in any way. Now, the coils that I am using do range between 60 to 70 watts. I currently have this on 60.5 watts. Don't ask me why I do that. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up because even at 60 watts, you're getting a really, really nice cooler vape, but I'm going to take it up to the maximum of 70 because I know this can handle it. Because of that amount of airflow and this juice flow control, I see absolutely nothing wrong with doing it at 70 watts because it can definitely handle it. So I've actually got it at 70 watts right there. It is ohming out to a 0.12 resistance. So let's go ahead and have another vape. It's warming up, but it's not even at the warm level yet. It's just a nice, flavorful airflow vape. Really, really nice flavor. I have to say that they hit it out of the park with flavor. The machining on here is really nice. The wicking is absolutely amazing because you've got that open deck system. So the juice is getting all over your cotton. There's no way that the cotton has any part to be dry at all. There's no way. There's no way to do it. You don't want to stuff your cotton. You don't want a thick amount of cotton in the juice channels. But if you thin them out like I did, just wisp them out and make it a little bit fluffy, it wicks so well. You have absolutely no problem. I'm going to go ahead and chain vape this for you and let you see how efficient it is. It needs no time to catch up, none whatsoever. It literally just, it's seeping. It's a very, very nice, moist, saturated vape. Really, really nice. 6.5 mils of e-liquid, I think, is an amazing amount of capacity. Would I like more? Wendy always wants more juice capacity, but in this case, it's perfect for me. I really like it because it's not too tall, it's not too short. It's just the right size in my opinion. Now, does it have some cons? In my opinion, yes, there are a couple cons, but for the most part, I mean, it's just, you've got top airflow, you've got airflow. I mean, you've got so many pros to this that the couple of cons that I have for this are not really that big a deal. You know what I mean? So the first con I'm going to have to give is not actually to the RTA. It's actually going to be on that rod that they give you. The reason for that is because there is no way, if you do misshapen the coil without taking it out to reshape it, you can't use the rod to actually shape it. So that's going to be a little bit of a con for the rod. It shapes it perfectly, but if you do need to reshape it, you have to take the coil out and reshape it on the rod and then put it back in. So that to me is going to be a con. Not a big one because I've got other ones anyway, or, you know, I don't mind taking it out. As long as you do it, like I said, and put very, very light pressure on it, you're going to be fine. Another one is going to be the clamps are not spring loaded. It's not a huge con. It's just something I want to mention. It's not hard to build on, as you notice down below. As long as you have them open, you can lay that coil right in it and it stays in there. As when you're screwing it down, you do want to put a little bit of pressure just to hold it in place while you get the other side as well, or it will pop out and you got to put it back in. For wicking it, I appreciate that they gave the cotton, but I feel like they should have given you the shoestring type of cotton with this, as, you know, somebody just getting it rather than just the cotton that they gave. I think shoestring cotton would have been really beneficial for this to help out whoever's going to be building on it, because it could be somebody's first RTA and they're not really familiar with it. But it's not a huge deal, but I think that they should have provided those type just to make it a little bit easier. But for me, those are basically the only cons that I have to this. Everything else is really, really nice. Again, I do use the Muji cotton squares. That to me is the best cotton for me in wicking my RTAs if I'm not using those shoestring cottons. And I actually prefer it better than the shoestring cotton. One thing you do have to make sure is that your cotton has to be tight underneath that mesh. I cannot stress that enough. If your cotton is not really snug under the mesh, you will get possibly some dry hits. And that's because the cotton's going to collapse and then there's nothing actually touching the coil itself. So that's very, very key in any type of a mesh type of device, whether it be an RDA, an RTA, it doesn't matter. You really need to have enough cotton in there so that it's not going to be collapsing underneath the coil. Other than those cons, I really have none. I appreciate KAEES for sending this my way. Thank you so much for sending this my way for a review. I think that they really hit it out of the park getting into the mesh game. I really do. I think that this is just it's a flavor machine. It really is. Flavor, clouds, mesh, it's the best of all three worlds. So that's pretty much it. Now, I can't leave any links down below where you can purchase this, but if you just go ahead and use your Google fingers and look up the KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA, you can pretty much find it just about anywhere. We just cannot leave websites, links, or anything like that, so I can't do that. But yeah, this is 6.5 mils of e-liquid capacity, I think is really fantastic. So I really like the fact that I don't have to fill this like every 15 minutes, like others that I have. So no matter how well it is or how good it tastes, I don't like filling super often. So that to me is usually a con. In this case, it's a real big pro. It also comes with a 510 drip tip adapter. So for those of you that don't like 810 drip tips and you want to use your 510s, you can, which I think is another pro that I want to mention, because a lot of these RTAs and RDAs coming out are not remembering to put that in for those of you that do like the 510 drip tips. So I did want to mention that. Again, it does have top airflow, but this vapes like a bottom airflow RTA. It really does. It gives you that nice saturated, airy, flavorful vape. So that's pretty much it for my review on the KAEES Solomon Mesh RTA. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. The colors I'm going to leave right here for you. They do come in a couple colors, so I'll leave that for you. And let me know down below, what do you think of this mesh RTA? I really honestly was kind of hesitant about the juice flow, how big it is, but I'm not getting any gurgling. I'm not getting any type of spit back. I'm not getting any of that. So I really like that it wicks efficiently, because that is key, especially in a mesh RTA. So let me know your comments down below, and I will see you in the next one.